on crushing on me for some reason. But your loves keep on coming like a thunderbolt. Come here a little closer, 'cause I wanna see you, baby, real close up. You got me feeling hella good, so let's just keep on dancing. You hold me like a shoe, so I'm gonna keep on dancing. Let's perform as a serving, I'm sending ovations. And who has up the beat, the two of us. So don't wake me if I'm dreaming, 'cause I'm in the mood, come on and give it up. You got me feeling hella good, so let's just keep on dancing. You hold me like a shoe, so I'm gonna keep on dancing. You got me feeling hella good, so let's just keep on dancing. You hold me like a shoe, so I'm gonna keep on dancing. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Got me feeling hella good, so let's just keep on dancing. You hold me like a shoe, so I'm gonna keep on dancing. You got me feeling hella good, so let's just keep on dancing. You hold me like a shoe, so I'm gonna keep on dancing.
Yeah, okay. That's like that's Jolly Nash, Miss Nash, okay, from 3 years ago, covering hella good, and doing a fucking awesome job if you ask me. Anyways, right. So Saturday, and you know what Saturdays are about, right? You know that shit. So let me find some good music, and then give you maybe 45 minutes or something of my mind. The good music part. That's a thing. What about this? What about this? Let me fucking wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. I wanted to barely be audible, in the background. I wanted to be barely audible in the background. And even so, I mean, even that might be too much. Maybe I need to find like a chill thing, you know? Maybe you need something chill. I don't fucking know. Let me find you something chill because you're like, I don't know. Oh my god, let's try this one. What's up? No. All right, not that close, not that close. Wait, wait. We got this. What about this one? What's happening here? Let me see. Yeah, okay. All right, this one is okay. All right. Okay. I think. Wait, let me just. Yeah. Yeah, okay. All right. That works for me. That works for me. And then maybe about there it works for you too. Right? It probably does. Okay, and if it, even if it doesn't, right? I mean, somebody's gonna tell me, or like nobody's gonna tell me. We'll see. I don't fucking know, dude. I don't fucking know. But I do know that, like, if I do this, whoops, more like this, then you can like hear me better or something. I don't fucking know. Maybe yes. Maybe yes. It's a mystery. It's a fucking mystery. But what's important is I'm gonna start. That's what's important. Okay. Oh no, why is it slowing down so much? Why is it so difficult? Wait a minute. Okay, last try. Is that like something? Almost. Yeah, okay, so this is it, this is actually it. Okay, cool. Now let me just get used to the idea that I gotta fucking use my camera. I'm like, I haven't showered in like, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't showered in 2 days. And so my mess is a hair. Okay, my mess is a hair. I wear my mess with pride, you know. And what else? And also, you know, whatever, it's morning, I just woke up, I practically have a cup of coffee, like, I'll show you. I'll show you what the situation is like. And, Jesus Christ. Let me put it down, okay. To your satisfaction, probably, I will turn on my camera. Which, hi. Also, I'm wearing a robe, as you can see. You know, I'm taking your sensitivities into account. All right? No, I'm not. No, I'm fucking not, bitch. Fuck that. So, my cup of coffee. Hi. Let's drink a bit before we go on. I need to, like, wet my throat a little. You know, the camera is a bit different. I'm trying a new angle, and maybe it works and maybe not. You know, but I don't know. Anyway, get used to it. All right, cool. Delicious espresso. So, where were we? I took notes for that, you know, and now I don't remember my notes. And also, let me do something else. That and this. All right, perfect. So I can see my chat, which is you, which is actually not you because you're not chatting ever. Doesn't matter. Okay, so last time, I mentioned something and I wanted to go back on it, right? And that something was potentially using momentum, right? And I showed you, if I remember right, I showed you like, or told you or advised your, you know, whatever the fuck you want to say, that you can, for example, use your weight, your momentum to just deliver a strike, you know, by adding momentum with your knee. You remember that weight? You remember that? Okay, so that needs further explanation. And I'm sorry that I kind of like gave you this like bit of information without like any proper like context, right? But the context for that is that, remember what I told you about spring action, for example? So how would you do that? Because, for example, this kind of, and it's important, trust me, like I got a nail into you, or into me actually, because this is about me, the concept of deconstructing, like, you know, reverse engineering, like what you see in your mind, you know, so that you can turn it into building blocks for yourself, right? So is the music okay, by the way? Wait. Yeah, it looks okay. Is the camera angle okay? Wait, let me try to fix that. 1 second. Just a tiny bit like here, right? Just a tiny bit there, I think, so that you can, so they can have like a bit of. There we go. You see, you know what I mean? Anyway, right. So, how are you going to say to someone that yeah, spring action is better, right? Just to give an example, like a rough example, where you just, you know, or for your legs, you know, just doing that sort of stuff like with your waist. So how is that good? But then I would show something like a strike where it goes like, you know, you extend like the same side and there's no spring action. Do you get that? All right. So the thing is, it all depends on the situation and how you set it up. So ideally, you do want to do that. Ideally, you do want to create a situation where your body's like primed for, you know, the ideal strike. But that's positioning and tactics, for example, right? And if it sounds like I'm babbling, it's because it is. But that doesn't make it incorrect. And in my head, this structure helps me. Let me try to put it in your structure, kinda. From the beginning, we said that we have to protect certain areas, right? At all times. It would be nice to protect here and to protect there, for example, and a bit here, like this side, a little bit, you know. So where is that when you're doing something like extending your knee to give yourself momentum, right? Where is that? Where is covering your bone tail? Where is covering your torso? Where is all that shit if you're extending and striking, for example, right? Or for example, where is the whole rule about 45 degrees? Where is that? Or not extending your shoulder too much. Where's all that when you advise to someone that yes, you could in fact just give yourself momentum with your legs, you know, using your legs and then delivering a strike. You see where the problem comes. Or breathing, for example, add breathing to that, for instance, right? So how does it go from there to that? And that's what I was apologizing for in the beginning, when I said that like I'm kind of like going here sometimes, I'm peaking there, when I should be going like this in what I say, right? Because I went like whoop, that's it, and then came back. So it will make sense, but for it to make sense, I need to fill in the gaps a little bit. Okay, so let's take it back. How do we create? Let's talk about something else first. Bluffs. That's gonna come into it, don't worry. So a lot of people like to use that where, you know, what's a bluff anyway? Like what's a feint? What's that, right? In Greek we call it bluffing, but maybe it's not a good word for, I don't know, European English or, you know, anyone else, you know? But let's call it feints then, right? Or fuck it, I'll use the name that I know that I should use, at least, you know, the way that I learned it. Anyway, so bluffs would be, for example, pretending that you're gonna use something, anything, your leg, your arm, anything, but then instead you do something else, like real quick, right? So here's the problem with that, and why I would generally not advise that. And oh my god, like probably you're gonna cringe for me saying that, but like honestly, just listen out. To do that, you're wasting frames, right? Just think about it. Let's go back to video gaming. Think about it in frames, right? To do that, you're wasting frames. You're doing something that the other person can safely do something against. But the point of the feint is that the other person will go for it. Yeah, look, what's the best way to deal with a trap? Okay, spring it, go for it. So that's one, keep it in mind. And then we also add another reason. If I'm springing the trap, right, it means that I'm committing. Even though you're feinting, I'm committing. Now, especially if you're defensive and I'm offensive in the moment, and I'm gonna talk about that too, what that means, you're fucked if you're bluffing. And I know what I'm doing. You're fucked. You're just gonna be like, waste that kind of thing. I'm already in there. Or you are already in there. Let's use you in this example. I hate saying me, because I don't know if I can do it anymore. But you can do it if you train. And I can do it if I train, which is the purpose of fucking these videos, right? To get me to fucking training again. Anyway, that's like to motivate me. Anyway, so first, best way is spring a trap. Go in for it anyways, you know? So you got that. Second, you're losing time. Countered in frames, if you want it in video game terms. But you're losing moments, you know? Moments in time in which you're doing something else already. And if you're doing that, if you're wasting that time and energy, because that's also a third part, you're wasting energy doing that. Okay, you're wasting energy, blah blah blah. Like it's a waste. It's a fake move. It's a waste. Okay. So because that's what the feint is. It's a fake thing. It's not gonna happen. You're not gonna do it. You know. And if you tell me, oh, but I can convert it, then let me tell you, just convert it from the beginning. Just convert it from the start, right? From the beginning, to begin with, just convert it. Because what do you have to lose? Nothing. So do the move properly, follow it up. Because it's all a continuous dance, you know? I act, you act again, I react, you act. No, you see what I mean? It's not like, why would you want to like waste that? Why would you want to wait, you know, so that I do something? If you wait and I do something, you're probably fucked, you know? Or if I wait and you do something, I'm probably fucked. If you know what you're doing, you know? Because I've given up a bit of time. It's like, think about it in chess, right? It's like giving up my turn and saying, I won't play this turn. I have 12 seconds to act, or whatever arbitrary time they have. I have no idea, right? And I'm giving it up. I'm saying, okay, I'm not gonna play. Okay, sure, I guess. Your problem, you know, I don't have a problem with that. And if I know how to react to being attacked anyways, why would I care if you're fainting? Because I'm not looking for the first thing you're gonna do, and I'm not looking for the second thing you're gonna do. I'm looking for things you're going to do. I'm in my lane, right? I'm focused. It doesn't matter if you're gonna hit me with a second motion of your body or with your first. I'm just in there, you know? And there is another reason why not. And that is basically being proactively defensive. So for example, yes, you can have, and again, I will talk about this percentages to make sense of it. You can have a situation where to defend, you need to actually create countermeasures, right? So for example, if you're being, I'll use the simplest example and you've seen this. You just maybe didn't think about it that way. Maybe you didn't think about it as defending, right? And oh boy, we have a lot to cover about defense because that's not simple. But anyway, let's think about the simplest scenario, a jab, right? So just extending my arm to strike something in a very traditional way. Forget the 45 degrees, forget everything, but like somebody jabs, right? Okay, so they jab. So what's happening here? They're presenting you like some opportunities. You defensively can strike anywhere here that would have an effect, which I'm not gonna teach you that. You're gonna find out where, you know. But striking certain, like, you know, certain parts here all the way, you're going to have an effect of maybe taking it out of the way or numbing it a bit, you know, or interacting with this limb in a way that it doesn't actually reach you, you know. I'm not talking just trapping it or you know, grappling or whatever. I'm talking about like you can just simply like just, you know, hit it in a way, right? Because blocks are essentially hits. They're striking, right? A block is a strike. It's not like I'm matching my bones to your ability against your strike's attack damage. right? It's I'm striking the thing that you're striking with. So if you're fainting, okay, I can still strike at the source of your feint, because to feint you're exposing it. And I don't care if you're gonna pull it back. I'm still gonna do what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm going in, or you're going in. I go both ways. But you know what I mean, right? So if you do this, right, like, oh, I'm gonna use my left arm, but instead I want to use my left. So you're gonna do this motion. I'm already committing to that. So if you're doing this already, I'm already looking to strike you here, or like, you know, like in here, or like here around this area where, you know, there's also this, or there at the wrist, right? I'm already looking to do that. I'm already just looking to do some damage there. Oh, but you're not gonna catch it. I am going to catch it, because I'm also aggressively using movement to close that distance. So if you're opening the distance, I'm closing it. Even if you withdraw to fire your other gun, all right, you fucking absolute beast. At that point, I'm also like positioned differently now, and your second strike is not gonna be where it needs to be, because you're thinking in pairs, like, oh, 1-2, right? It's difficult mentally for somebody to decouple these in a way that they would be able to do one and then like just wait and all, because that defeats the purpose of a feint. It's not a feint anymore. It's not a feint anymore, because now more factors are added in, right? My movement, your movement, my reaction to your feint. Like, it's not a feint anymore. Like, whatever you wanted to start, you've started it, and you've already lost your turn, because now I've moved and you've done nothing with this, right? So I don't know about feints, dude, but I don't personally like them. I don't like the idea. And also they promote this sort of like, which is not bad, but it's not a good starting place, okay? And there are more intelligent ways to do it, but it promotes this idea of like trickery, as in, you know, I'm gonna play defensively and make the other person react, and then I'll strike. You know, don't think like that. It has its place, but you have to go there through a different route and utilize that in a different way, more intelligently, than wasting energy and doing weird shit like, okay, because that, like, what is that? Like, in the meantime, you know, I will have done something, and especially if you've coupled moves together in your head, like, oh, give me all 1-2, matey. What 1-2? There is no 1-2. There's like, we start and we don't finish until like something happens to you or to me, right? We start and we don't finish. There's no counting. There's no 1-2 and then stop and take a few breaths. There's nothing like that. It's continuous, right? It's continuous, which is also an idea you should get in your head. Like, once it starts, there is no rounds. There is no nothing. There is no reprieve. There is no. You devise a plan according to what's happening around you, with the information that your eyes and ears and your thoughts and everything just gives you, and you go. You know, you respond to what's happening, and you create situations for the other person to respond, and there is this like intertwined like interaction, which doesn't pose for you or for them, because if you stop, you lost the thread. That's it. And so that also means that like, conserving your energy is important, because for how long can you do that, right? For how long can you do that? And a good example of that is like, and the way to practice that even mentally is to, for example, I've told you before, like, just start with the breathing exercises that I told you, right? But now add some movement, any movement you want, even walking, or any movement you want, any movement that resembles striking or like, you know, combating anything, right? And keep breathing throughout, like all the time. You're striking, but you're breathing as well, right? And this kind of like imprints in you the idea that all these things are fluid and connected, and they don't stop. Your opponent is not gonna stop for you to breathe in and out when you want. Your breathing shouldn't stop you, your movement shouldn't stop you. Every step that you take shouldn't obstruct you, because you're not gonna give yourself the chance to go like, oh yeah, you know, I took a wrong step, I'm gonna like do something. No, no, no. It's like the moment that it begins, the moment that I think about it, and I engage, and you engage, and you know, we're having sex, it's like, do you fucking, okay, that's a good example. All right, perfect example. Where you're having sex, and maybe you're not a fucking sex machine like I am, but let's assume that you were, okay? If you're having sex, you fluctuate, you respond to your mate, right? But you're not like, okay, I did precisely 3 thrusts, you know, in out. Now I'm gonna stop a bit and then let's go again. No, it's a continuous like, you know, it's like flames, you know, touching. Are you getting what I'm saying? It's like sex. Don't fuck your sparring partners, okay? But like you know you know what I mean, right? So you can't exactly say when it stops and starts. You can't think like that. Therefore, you can think like I'm gonna throw a combination like 1, 2, 3. Okay, you throw the combination, and now what, bro? And now are you gonna like take 2 seconds to kind of like align and think about your next combination? I'm already in there. I'm fucking destroying your fucking guts. I'm ripping your throat out. Okay, because I'm a wild card. Fuck you. Jokes aside, you're getting it right. You're stopping to think about your combinations that are so fucking fast, but you're already giving me time to act. Because I'm not thinking in combinations, I'm thinking simply on how to inflict like the most damage with the least expenditure of energy by exposing myself the least that I can. I'm not thinking 1, 2, I'm thinking I did this. And I'm already seeing how you react, your body reacts, everything, and I'm going for the next thing that is gonna help me. And I'm doing that by utilizing all the basic tools, like, you know, am I covering myself? Am I breathing? Am I positioning carefully? Am I like walking properly? Did I put myself in such a position where now I can strike with more methods? What's my range? What's your range? You know, oh, are you jumping back because I react? Okay, let me just follow you with my own shuffle, with my own pivot into your territory and see what happens. You know, let's have this dance, you know? Let's have this fucking dance. I'm not gonna let you faint. I'm not gonna let you 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm not gonna let you do that. I also am doing things. You know, you better have a response because, you know, even if you get hit, you continue, right? So even if you get grazed by something, it's not gonna stop you. It's not like my combination of moves is creating a fence that my opponent cannot go through. Like if I want to go through, and that's fighting spirit by the way, if I want to go through and decide that fuck you and your fancy 1, 2, 3 and all that, but I want to go in, I'll find a way. And if I can't, well, back to the fucking drawing board because I have to learn how to fucking fight again, you know? So if you see somebody just standing there, because I've seen this, and I've experienced this personally, firsthand, where you see somebody going like, shoo, 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 you know, and you're like, oh my god, how am I gonna get into that? You know, and sorry for the shitty form, I'm just trying to explain stuff, right? I'm not trying to fucking mimic some kind of Jean-Claude Van Damme shit, I'm just trying to make a point. So, because I personally wouldn't do that shit. So, some people are afraid to go in there, they're like, oh my god, like look at that, if I go close, one of these are gonna clip me. Do it, motherfucker, go in there, get hit and be like, ah, but I saw an opening there, because I got hit, but there was like a moment in between hits where I could have like, just maybe like, you know, guarded or something, you know, maybe I could have like done something, right? And then you go and tell the other person again, please. You know, show again, again, and again, and again, and again, until you find a way where you're going in and it's convenient for you. That's how a sparring partner helps you, right? And then it creates this this mentality of I'm not afraid anymore to go in and learn what my opponent has to teach me. I'm not afraid of their, you know, barrage of strikes or whatever. And then you realize I also have my own fucking stuff to do. So let's start by doing it. Oh, doing that? Alright, let me start by like already like trying to punch you in the guts, right? Or something. Let me try to do that while you're doing your 1, 2. Let's see how you're gonna respond. And this is the practice thing. And the more you practice that shit, the more it becomes like a reflex to think like that, you know, and it's gonna come out when you need it. All right, that's what he said. So, you know, but you shouldn't pace your practicing in that way. You shouldn't be like, oh, okay, only to help somebody. Like, if you want to help somebody, do it. Go like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 until they fucking get over it, you know. But you yourself and your sparring partner don't get into the trap of thinking that way yourselves, right? Where everything is like combination of like 2-3 hits and then pause and then 2-3 hits and then pause. Don't get into that rhythm, because the moment that you have a rhythm, then your opponent can read your rhythm, interact with it, alter it, change it, take advantage of it. You have to be I don't want to say that because, you know, I'm not gonna say it because I don't want to sound like fucking conceited or anything, but it is true. You have to be like water, my friend. Wow. No, but do you understand though? Like, you have to be fluid and also like a flame. You know how the flame dances? You put another flame close to it, they kind of start doing this thing. That kind, you have to be that. You know, you have to be that. You can't be like 1 2 1 2. Let's move around a bit. 1 2. Okay, let's see. 1 2. You can't do that. You're like every 1 2 that you're doing, you're wasting so much time and energy for nothing. For nothing at all. I can just look at you. Bro, I can just look at you. I don't have to come close. I don't have to. All I have to do is go like that, and you're gonna respond 1 2 3. How many times are you gonna do that? All I'm gonna be doing is like, and you're gonna be responding to that and wasting energy. I'm wasting your energy. I'm wasting your hype. I'm wasting your fighting spirit. Because after 2-3 times I'm gonna do that, you're gonna be like, what's happening? She's not attacking, I'm not attacking, nothing is connecting, I keep having to stop to close a distance. It creates problems in your target's head, you know. So don't create problems in your head like that. It's like, oh, are we going? Okay, we're going. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, you know, 4. Go in, go out, go around, go somewhere, do something. But there is no stopping and there is no pausing. There is nothing like that. It's just a continuous flow, right? Anyway, Jesus Christ. It's more difficult to describe that shit than like anything. But it's not so easy because you can just say it's like sex. And hopefully you fucking gorillas understand that at least. I don't fucking know. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe you're fucking hopeless. But yeah. If it fucking gets through you, then that's fine, right? It's like watching. It's like watching it's like a speed run. It's like a speed run. Okay, except the map and the circumstances change on the spot, and you have to reroute in your brain every time that something changes. Even if I do this, now you've changed already. Okay, you're adapting already. Not because this is a fate and I'm gonna hit you, but because what does this allow me to do, and when and where and why and how and everything. Do I even want to do something? Like what type of opponent are you? What are you doing? Like how is like your behavior better exploited by my actions? You know. So and if you're gonna ask me how am I gonna do that in a pinch, I don't know, fucking moron. You figure that out, okay? You think faster. You know, find a friend and spar and tell him or her, surprise me, fucking surprise me. Don't comply, surprise me. Okay, just do whatever you want. Just surprise me. I want to see how you move your body. 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4, you're gonna get it. Not everyone is gonna move the same way, but do that enough with enough people, and you're gonna have enough base, enough foundation to deduce the rest on the spot. And sure, if it fails, you're fucked. Cool. but you will have the physique and the mentality and everything on your side to potentially recover and fight back. And then now that's experience for you, more experience for you. You made it, congratulations. Now you have like +1 level, like you fucking made it, you know? And if you didn't, well, if you're alive, then, you know, heal and go back to practice because, you know, but don't let it haunt you either, you know? So that's the thing that I want to talk about. So when you visualize, right, don't make that your inner demon. Don't make that your nemesis. You know, if somebody beats you, let's use another example. If somebody beats you, let's say they beat you like a fucking dog, you know, you're fucking on the floor and you're fucking sweating and you're crying because you got punched and nothing that I said worked and nothing that you knew, so, you know, and it's fucking horrible for you, right? And I've been there and it's a horrible fucking experience. And then the face of that opponent just, it's there, and you're visualizing them, fighting against them, and you demonize that person. That's very bad for your mental health, okay? And for your, if you believe in it, for your spiritual energy, your balance, you know, it's very bad for that, okay? So don't do that, you know, just when you visualize, make it faceless completely, just faceless, nothing, it's you know, it's just an entity, you know? Don't assign to it any attributes because you're trapping yourself. Don't assign it. Don't matter if it's like a being of light in your head or a being of darkness or a being of like poo, right? Or spaghetti, right? Don't let that matter. Forget it. It's just what it is, you know? Because then if you start focusing on that, you're gonna go like, oh, a being of light, but a being of light would never attack me, you know? And things like, and then if you see somebody who you perceive as close to those characteristics as possible, you might then be affected by your but by what, can't, that word is fucking hard, I'm gonna look it up later. But what I mean is by what you've been building up in your head, you know, already. So nope, it's not coming back. It's something something, but I can't fucking remember it. Doesn't matter, but you get the point. All right. So anyway, so yeah, what was I talking about? Fuck. The continuum, you know, the cinematic universe continuum, and then before that, how that relates to movement. What was I talking about, dude? I have to remember now, because I went too far. I went too deep into the visualizing stuff a little bit, and I don't want to go there yet, right? But anyway, now you understand like how everything leads to every other thing, and now, there we go. Fucking found it. I found the thread. So what does this mean, right? So feints are a no, to me. But setting up a situation where you would more successfully use something that you know is far more effective than something else, now we're talking. Because you're not wasting anything involved in the setup part, and you're also not wasting anything in between, and anything that leads to, and of course, you know, the major strategy that you have in your puny mind as well. You waste nothing. Everything is effective because you've made it so, which is also why I'm telling you, when you're starting this, you know, this should reach peak. This move should reach peak before we go into altering it into anything else that might suit the situation. This, right, this 45 degrees thingy, which doesn't extend too much, should reach peak first, right? In speed, in technique, in everything. And when I say this, I'm not meaning like the exact move as a strike, as a move, you know, press A, that happens. I'm speaking about like a very vanilla way of striking something. So vanilla ways of striking something, basic stuff, right? Basic ways to strike should become second nature before we try to alter them, right? because these are gonna have to be effective so that you don't have to reach a further level, because ideally you just want to conserve your energy and your effort, and you have, you want to make it over fast, as they say, right? So you don't want to like devise a plan that involves your opponent, like, um, being in the fight for longer than whatever. It's the sooner the better. The sooner the better. So these small strikes that may set up something better, yeah, you have to practice those as well separately in a vacuum. So instead of a feint, just commit to even that move. But now that also sets me up to like, do what I would do regularly, which is like a spring action, right? As I said, which is more effective than just like oopsie daisy, this, right? It's more effective. There's more energy. There's more blah 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 blah, and you're setting it up. And not only are you setting it up, but you're also working with the idea that you're not gonna stop or retract if you don't have to, because by default you shouldn't worry about retracting. But let's talk about that another time, because that also, in and on itself, helps with the mentality of everything is a continuous flow, and it's not a one move, but it's rather move, move again, move and move again, and then you see how even I am lagging because I'm just thinking what to show you, right? I'm not free of thought yet. But you get what I'm trying to tell you that should happen and what you should practice towards, right? But anyway, never mind the retracting a move. We'll talk about that. That's not the conversation I'm having. I forgot what the conversation I was having was. Again, because I was now thinking about that. Okay, there's so much I want to put down, for future me to just see. That it kind of like goes like, my brain is just working in every direction. Fuck that. So we were talking about flow of move and setting up a strike, and so then now you've learned that like from your very default position you can just like do that, right? Just use these or this only just to do a 45-degree system here that strikes somebody in a direct line. Let's say like here, or let's say just an example like here, right? Okay, let's use this. All right, and you're doing that, right? And you're doing that, okay? So now stop there and be like, okay, now I can do this spring action, right? Which means I can involve more shit. I can involve more of my body and give it energy. And from there, then I can also just do the same and kick low or there, or and that's how it goes. So that's the simplest possible way of setting up a continuation for using like what what you've come up with, essentially, because it is coming up with stuff. It's not hard to come up with like moves. It's not hard. It's just all you have to do is think like, I want to use this to strike from the waist and below. Now, where would I do that on an opponent? How would I do this? How would I go about it in a way that keeps me safe? And then you start like, and you go like, oh, okay, there, like there we go. And then you're starting like, okay, so, but if I just go there and do that, it's not good. I have to put my waist into it. And then what's the best way to have my foot like? Because, if you have it like this, okay, it's gonna create a surface where somebody can even like just take advantage of you, right? Of it, I'm sorry, and push it back before you can even finish the move. Because like if your foot, for example, is like this, that's a natural step for me. I can just like do that and keep it down on you. If I see you, if I notice you going for that, I can just like step on you and stop it right there. So for your knee to work, because we're also very close, don't forget, if you're using your knee, then we must be very close, right? Otherwise you're an idiot. Which means I can catch it with my peripheral vision and go like, oh, no, you bitch, you're not gonna use that, right? And now you've given me like some time to respond, which is time you wasted on a stupid attack. But anyway, what does that tell me? I would have to have my foot like this, for example. There you see, it's flatter, and therefore it cannot be stopped that way, because anything that tries to stop it will just slide through. And you start devising a move, and then you're like, okay, I invented a way to strike with my knee. That's it, you invented a way to strike with your knee. See, it's easy. But then comes the whole practice of how to use it and how to make it more effective and when and coming off of what, you know. And so here's, I guess, where we're gonna stock. Oh yeah, that's where I'm stalking you. Wait. Let me change it. What's up? Is this good? No. There we go. So, bro, dementia is the onset of dementia. Now it's really just that my brain is overwhelmed because I have, dude, it's more than a decade of shit in my head that I'm going like, and then it goes like, you know. I'm trying to do like, but it's not working. It wants to get out, you know, it wants to go like, so yeah, but anyway, silly examples aside, that's what's happening. I'm being overwhelmed by my own thoughts because my thoughts are generally just fucking chaotic anyways, so you can imagine what happens when you try to convey it and it's so much, and I haven't talked about it for so long. So you'll have to excuse me if I'm kind of like getting lost in it and trying to pick up the threads and all that. Okay, and so you're devising your moves as we said, and then I wanted to talk about something important that had to do with that. Let me think. It'll come to me, it's okay. Probably after the stream even. It's probably gonna come to me after the stream and I'm gonna be like, no! You know, it's gonna be horrible, dude. Shit. No, I have to remember. I'm not even stalling. I'm really not stalling. I'm going through my head and I'm like, today I wanted to talk about this and that. And then also this, but also there's another thing that I just remembered. Then I forgot. Wait, what was the thing? That's what I'm going through my head. It's not like I don't have shit to tell you. It's more like I don't want to do this boom, you know, and then take it back. I want to just try and structure it a little bit, you know. I want to try and structure it because when I explained to you like this whole like oh knee and oh maybe that's what I was building up to then explain to you that for example now you have moving parts of a whole, right? So because you have the knee, you know you have to extend it, you already know you're breathing, you already know that this is your center of your gravity, so you know that if you're gonna like, you know, propel yourself, it's gonna have to come from a point where it doesn't result in this, okay, or in this, okay, but rather as a unit you're moving, okay, every movement is moving your center, you know, and now you're like, okay, so if I give momentum to my center and add something to keep my lower region safe, I can then do like a very extended punch, for example, right? I can do a very extended strike, and now that's it. Yes, motherfucker, I wanted to talk about stances, you fool. Stances. Stop. Let me finish what I said before I realized I want to talk about stances. Okay, what I started. So, and now you're starting to see when and how a move that changes your defense to offense ratios could be applied better. Because of course, like, you know, a move with such momentum is a commitment, is a, if before you were like a more balanced, more balanced between offense and defense, now you're going like whoop, you know, sacrificing something for something else, right? Which is something you need to do constantly when you're gauging an encounter. When you're in the encounter, your brain has to be going like, oh, gotta do that. And that's why, even though it goes against what I told you as a base, such moves, such strikes can have merit. Even though you could consider them reckless, but you have set it up in such a way because you're a hidden genius, and you've set it up in such a way that even though you've minimized your defensive capabilities by committing to such a movement, you're safe because you've made it so. Because maybe you've stepped on someone's toe, now that shit can be used because they're busy hurting, and now you can whoop and go like, okay, this is my fucking time to shine, and you go like Shoryuken in their ass, and then and they take it like a bitch because they just don't have any response in the moment. That's it. You set it up. Just a very ridiculous example, but I hope you understand when and where we kind of like change our, transferring energy to shields or cannons, right? Or engine, for example. But two things about this. Don't go to extremes. Not 100% offense, not 100% defense. Don't go to extremes, and don't be 50-50. Because they cancel each other out and you end up looking like an idiot. It has to be usually somewhere around, if you can measure it like that, which you can't. You have to get a feeling for it. It always, like in a vacuum, it should always be around a difference of like anywhere between 65, 60 something to and like 65 offense, let's say, and the remaining like defense, right? Or the opposite, and then just fluctuate, but it shouldn't ever be like boom or bam or in the middle. Because that shit is just like, it's too much of a risk, it's not worth it, and you're burning resources. Okay, and so stances. That's where stances come into play. And points for style. Okay, because believe it or not, one very hidden merit of utilizing such things is your morale and your fighting spirit. Because let me tell you, if I catch a motherfucker and I read it and that motherfucker can't fucking respond to something stupid that I do, I'm doing that stupid thing, because it empowers me. And buffing yourself is good, believe it or not. Who wants to go in a fight or stays in a fight if they're not having fun? There is a sadistic streak and a masochistic streak in everyone. Like it's like they say, we all have these tendencies. We all have a bit of an introvert, a bit of an extrovert, a bit of this, a bit of that, a little bit crazy, a little bit normal. It's the percentages, right? So we do have a violent streak. We do have a sadistic streak. We do have a masochistic streak. We have a streak for violence. We have a streak for brutality. We have a streak for loving each other. So sometimes, even during such moments, if you're not having fun, you're not gonna function. And so, as I said, you can consider it like a self-buff, right? So if you are in a situation where you can do something that you've practiced and you've learned it and all that, of course you should try to do that. Because first of all, it's artistic. It's self-expression. It boosts your confidence, right? There's lots of merits that are like a little bit secondary, right? But let's talk about the primary. So what would it matter, right? Well, as I said, if you set it up, we established that like if you set something up, all right, and if you are able to respond, if you've practiced to that point, all right, and now you can fight. Let's suppose because myself, by my own standards, I can't fucking fight. I can't fight. Well, guess what? That's why I was learning for like a fucking decade, because it took me, I didn't even reach the levels I wanted to reach. I reached some very good levels, mind you. Very good levels towards like all that shit. And I know I wasn't a fucking buffoon or anything. I wasn't a clown because I did have this like story arc where I would go to various places and I would be like, okay, just show me what you got, not an offensive way, but like, hey, so what's up? What's this dojo about? Let's fucking find out. And I would ask to spar. When it was time to spar, I wasn't pushing it. I was like, okay, but I want to spar. Like, I want to like, just show me somebody who can like throw a punch, and let's go. And I would do that. And I would endure all the fucking hazing because yes, there is hazing. I've seen hazing. I've gone through hazing, right? Hell, there was a kung fu place here. You don't know where here is. I realize. All right, 10 minutes walk from my place, and I went there, and I was like, okay. I'd like to see some, what can you do? What can you do? Let's, can we like, spar? Can we like, can I join your class? And then at the end, when people are sparring, I can take part. Can I do that? Please, And the guy was like, I see. First, go to the corner and do like 50,000 jumping jacks or some shit like that. So for a whole fucking hour, there I was doing some weird shit where I had to like stand like this, there, like in the horse stance or whatever. And I'm not gonna do it completely. I'm just doing it to show you. You get the idea. And then I had to do something like there, and then there, and then there, and then there. And then like just bring it around and some shit like that, and I did that for a fucking hour. So I respected everyone's opinions and like hazing and whatever. I took it. I wasn't an asshole. And then the 10th game where I would spar, and I would be like, okay, can I now? And they would be like, okay, yeah, take part in this. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I would do that, and I would like see how people. I even took part in a tournament. Did you know that about me? Did you know that I took part in a tournament? I've mentioned it before. It's pretty crazy. Like me in a fucking tournament, can you imagine that? It didn't work out. Not because I lost. I did lose. And that's because I can't do points. I can't do points. I can't do this thing. I cannot. I cannot. I cannot stand next to somebody and be like, and then go like, I'm not saying that Taekwondo doesn't have merit. I'm not saying it doesn't have explosiveness. I'm not saying that, and then these things hurt as well. If they fucking hit you, it hurts. It's not like a slap. Like if you get hit by that shit, it's like getting hit by a fucking goat or something. I don't want to do that. But what I'm saying is, if it's like a very low contact thingy and all that, it's just not for me. I was getting foul points because I didn't need to use both my hands to defend. Why would I use both hands if we can do it with one hand? So there was a complete mismatch of like, motives and end goals, let's say. Because there was this guy going like, shao, shuai, or whatever, and I was going like, okay, yeah, sure, yeah, okay, yeah, okay. And I was being defensive, right, because, well, hell, I was stressed. It's a tournament. I was like, there is people watching. I'm like, all right, before I embarrass myself, let me see what this guy is doing because I got no idea about him. Let me see, can I even defend? And how is his like, what's his plan here? And it seemed to me that his plan was like start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. So all I had to do was add the least amount of effort, the least amount of energy to overcome or survive this start, stop, the in between of the start and the stop. So his start stop was like just one strike, or maybe two, which I could very easily just stand here and go like, okay. Like seriously, just, yeah, okay. Which of course turned him, so there was no follow-up. He could have kicked and he tried, but he missed, because all I had to do was like just get out of there. Of course, that gave him a point because even though there was no contact, I didn't, theatrically defend, right? So it didn't like register for the judges, and so. But was I safe? 100%. That none of these strikes would have touched me ever, and so I was like, okay, why would I attack you if you can't even hurt me? Why would I fucking just attack you if that's the case? Like, what's the point of that? And so the guy who took me into the tournament, even though I wasn't part of his dojo, and that place is 5 minutes from here, by the way, they're still fucking working, and it's still the same guy, by the way. I fucking hate that guy. Anyway, he comes to me and says like, okay, you need to attack. It needs to be defense, attack, defense, attack. And I'm like, all right, okay, cool. And so I'm like, okay, boom, bam, there, easy. I'm even extending myself. I'm not even like nothing. I'm just going like, okay, here's a punch. All right, avoid that. Slap him in the back of the fist. Point, right? I assume at this point, because like I'm attacking, I guess. Nope, that's also a foul, and I'm like, oh, I can't understand this. I don't understand, and so I got pissed off, and that's like, I shouldn't have done that. That was kind of stupid of me, but the guy was also an asshole. Context, because before we fight, before our round, let's say our bout, we were in the fucking locker rooms, right? And the guy was like, hey, let's not hit each other. Let's promise to not like hurt each other and to not be aggressive and not have bad feelings and this and that. And like he was like, yeah, and let's take it easy, right? Let's take it like super easy. Let's take it like this and that, and I'm not gonna be too aggressive. And he was, because even though I was fucking, it was easy to like shove aside his weird strikes. He was in my face going like making weird noises, and it agitated me because he had no chill. The guy has no chill, you know. It didn't feel like, it felt to me like he wanted a fucking deathmatch or something, you know, by his attitude. But there was no deathmatch because there were rules. And so he was getting fucking worked up, you know. I was getting worked down. And anyway, so at one point I'm like, okay, fine, I'm gonna lose anyway. This guy's being an asshole. He's not helping because he's trying to come in my face and he's like screaming too loud, you know. And I can't fucking take that. People screaming at me pisses me off. That shit gets you punched. So you know, like if you're in my face and go like, rah, 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 I'm gonna pick you up and throw you in the fucking garbage. Like I fucking hate that, you know. It's shit behavior. Anyway, and anyway, so what I do is like, all right, this time you're fucked. And so this time I pull his hand aside, not just fucking redirect it. I pull it aside, and now his ribs are mine. And I plant my fucking foot. I go like, okay, like in his fucking rib cage, and then I also punch him. And I give him a black eye, and his ribs were hurting. And I lost the fight, and then I fucking left. I was like, hey, you know what, count me out. I'm fucking out. Because I saw that I was becoming aggressive. I saw that the other guy was basically just a fucking child at this point. And I just fucking left. I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'm leaving. I don't want this tournament, you know, I don't want anything here. Fuck it. This guy was toast. Out there with no rules, he was toast. I don't care, I'm leaving. But anyway, the point of the story was not to brag about that, which nothing to brag about. The guy was like, what, a red belt or something? Whatever, who the fuck cares? Red is like high, maybe, but not the highest. It's black, which is the highest, or maybe second dan, third dan, I don't fucking know. But I think it's like going from highest supposedly to lowest. Isn't it like black and then what is it, like brown or something, and then there is red, so it's not that low either. But anyway, that guy was like trash. I don't know, maybe he was really good for tournaments, but I don't fucking know, dude. But out there he would have been fucking toast. He would have been smoked in like under 1 second. Anyway, that's not the point. The point was I did go and do all that shit, you know. And yeah, I lost thread again because I focused too much on my anger on that guy. He was a shitty guy, you know. Anyway, I'll pick it up again. Stances then, right? Let's go back to that. Forget what I was gonna say. Go back to what I originally intended to say. Stances, right? So you set it up, right? Against that guy, let's say. Once I figured out that like he's like a pushover, like I could have started assuming there are certain poses and stances that would help me do something else and clown on him. I could do that, and that's like a childish example. But if we're working on the mindset, and this is serious, if we're working on the mindset of setting up situations and creating strategies and adapting and not letting go and reading your opponent with your peripheral vision and then this and that and the other one and everything I've said so far and even more things that I haven't said so far, if you combine all that into a little ball and you swallow that and now we take that as a granted, as a basis, then what's to stop you from a correct read which leads into some weird bullshit stance? I don't know, just any that you want. Do you want like a what do you want? Do you want like the fucking Phoenix stance from Xiaoyu in Tekken? You want to go low, like, you know, dip your chest down there and go in? Well, if you've set it up and you read the move and you avoid and go in and you can do something smart from there that you can guarantee is gonna happen, then do it. Then fucking do it, because those stances are made for that exact reason. That scenario where your skill is so fucking mad that you can actually use that. It's a little bit in the same vein of thinking of styles as having characteristics. Oh, that's an aggressive style. Oh, that's a defensive style. Oh, that's a theatrical. Everything is theatrical. Everything can be aggressive. Everything can be defensive. It's you. You're changing. How theatrical are you? How aggressive are you? You're the common denominator. Same for stances. They look ridiculous? Yeah, because if you monkey them, if you just parrot them, like, oh, here's a guy I'm gonna fight. That's not how it works. Okay, I made that up, by the way, if you couldn't tell. That's not how it works. It's like, here's a guy, I'm in a fight. What the fuck? How I'm in a fight? But anyway, but I'm in a fight. And you know, we're doing all this thing, all this dance, the flames, the sex, everything I said. And oh, look, I have an opening. I have an opening to do precisely that. And his punch misses me, and now I'm ready to do my magical strike, which you would have thought is useless, but now, actually, you found a way to fit it in there. That's what she said. See what I mean, that stances can work? Should you actively go for them? Depends. Do they conserve energy? Do they help you with your current strategy? Are they appropriate for the situation, like physically? Could it be a matching piece of puzzle for the tapestry that you're weaving, you absolute god of time and space? Is it? If it is, do it. And can you do it? And that's the important part. Can you fucking do it? If yes, and it fits, you can do it. Who's gonna tell you, oh, this is so absurd? Who's gonna tell you that? Why would you listen to them? Okay? And maybe the first 100 times you're gonna do it, you're gonna get trashed completely because your sparring partner is gonna be, nah, bro, just gonna shove you, and you're gonna be like, and just like die somewhere in a ditch, you know? But then you resurrect from your paladin in the party, and then you go back and you start going like, okay, so, but what if in that moment I get pushed? Maybe I need to fix like my balance center. Okay, let me lower a bit, and then start practicing this. Ooh, now even if I get pushed, you know, I'm trying to use stupid examples to give you an idea of how and why you can use anything you fucking want. Because, to quote for a second time, you know, it's martial arts, most of all, they're art. Okay, most of all. An art of violence, but it's an art. And you have to be able to see that. And you have to be able to let yourself create in that department. Second, it's an expression of yourself. That's more important. It's an honest expression of one's self. So if that's yourself, if that's how you express yourself, who's to say that you shouldn't? Cultivate it. Okay, cultivate it. And there is a challenge mentally and in terms of discipline in somebody telling you, no, this is useless, and you saying, all right, I'm taking that useless thing that you call fantasy, and I'm gonna make it work, understand how it works, and incorporate it into my fucking repertoire of strategies. Water. And it's in that sense that like stances work, right? That's the sense in which weird shit, works. That's the sense in which that crap works, and you can be like, doing the praying mantis. But more often than not, in reality, what is ideal to do is shave off the parts that are unusable or unwieldy. Remember when I told you that? So that's how you have sometimes in certain martial arts there are incorporated elements of other martial arts. For example, when I was practicing like Hwarang Do, right? Okay, which is like a hodgepodge of martial arts, essentially what it is, right? Because spiritually, mentally, disciplinary, it's a whole fucking other thing. But when it comes to martial arts, it was like a puzzle, right? And it taught you to think like that. It taught you to think more like that. Because Hwarang Do isn't a martial art, it's just a way. So it borrows its fighting parts from other stuff, okay, that and the spirit of that is that you can do the same. All right, and even if you don't care about Hwarang Do, you should do the same, because that's a good thing to do, because it makes you creative in your thinking. It keeps your mind busy. It keeps you like critical thinking. This is good, that is bad. You're experimenting. It's a good state of mind. Anyway, that's pointless. What's the point is? The point is that, like, for example, they took like the mantis thingy, right? And they were like, okay, so how does this work and why? All right, and what it turns out to be is like you can trap somebody's limbs, for example, with a movement like this, right? And you can remove the theatricality and be like, oh, okay, so basically this is like trapping somebody's hand in a way where you can redirect it, you can maybe do a technique, you can maybe pull them in for a strike, and it kind of works, it kind of like, okay, so yeah, give me that, I'm gonna take that. So they threw away 90% of it, kept 10% of it, which is the principle behind the movement. Boom, incorporated, done. That's usually what you're gonna be doing, okay? That's usually what you're going to be doing, because you're gonna see, like, let's say Kung Fu animal stance, right? And you're gonna look at it and you're gonna be like, okay, so, look at that person, the way they move, right? Is that like doing anything? And then suddenly, like, 1% of what they're doing makes sense. A certain strike, a certain end result, a certain something, it just makes sense. And you go like, okay, I'm taking that part. Fuck the rest. I'm taking that part. But again, that doesn't mean that you couldn't perform the whole thing if you wanted. And in that sense also, it doesn't mean that you couldn't assume a stance if you wanted. What's stopping you? If you got in a situation, if you got yourself, which is what you should be doing, in a situation where you can use it, then use it. If that's your body expression, use it, right? Can you tell an artist not to use a certain color? Why would they do that? Use all the colors, Use a lot of each color. Throw the fucking bucket on them. It's fine. It's fine. If it works, can you make it work? Does it fit your tapestry of stratagems? Do it, bitch. Oh, you can't do it? It's not working? Oh, what about you go and practice it then, huh? Until it works. How about that? And then you can tell me if it works and how you're gonna incorporate it. Show me what you do with it. Yeah, see it as a challenge. As I said, even if you fail in the end, and you end up not being able to use your favorite like monkey paw stance or whatever, you've gone through a practice and a training, and you've gone through something, a transformation, if you will, that the journey will give you something out of. You know, it will give you perhaps a more innovative spirit. It will give you perhaps the discipline you need to make something work. You know, to practice. It's not always about the end result. You know. So yes, try crazy shit. Try crazy shit. Yeah. But always try to apply the base principles of like fighting, because there comes a point, and that's the point, where some things will defy the basics to, you know, to a point where using them would be detrimental to you. Maybe they wouldn't be able to be used under certain circumstances that you feel are going to be common, right? Maybe slippery floor, maybe, I don't fucking know, more than one opponent, maybe anything you can imagine. Maybe your hand is just crippled, maybe your leg is wounded, you know, whatever. So you need to learn to adapt all that shit into those situations. And you know, the less fucking situations they can be adapted to, the less I would invest in that stuff, you know. But the stance, that's just the stance. Like how bad can it get that you can't do it, you know? So again, if you can't do it, whatever, it's fine, as long as it doesn't violate certain principles. Like that, does it prevent you from breathing properly? Does it throw you too much of balance? Does it prevent you from like doing basic like interactions and strikes, like interactions with your environments, like put a wall to steady yourself, like put a hand on your wall, or take a step? Does it like prevent you from maneuvering? Like you know, you gotta see for yourself how much you're willing to give up before you say that something is impractical, you know. But don't just lump it all in one fucking go, because again, in the split moment, yes, you could do something nice and flashy that will not alter your strategy. Maybe it will even improve it. Like, and I'll give you an example, right? So in Kogaryu, they have these like elemental stances, and fuck me if I remember all of them, but I remember the more ridiculous one, which was literally to stand like this. Like my opponent is there, and I'm standing like this. And then when it's time to fight, supposedly, I'm just putting it in childish terms, you were like this. And I think it was like the earth stance. I think that's the earth element stance. Right, and you were like this, right? And so the theory was that you are now so thin, your profile is so small, that you could do some moves like this, right, to strike, where you're keeping your profile at a minimum, right? Now, that sounds ridiculous, okay? But what if in the moment I'm like this, right? And I'm like, your strike is coming there, and I just flatten myself, okay, and extend my arm and hit you, and then also, you know, hit you again, motherfucker. It's like, what's stopping me from doing it? If I can do it, why wouldn't I? Does it work? Yes. Does it put me a bit in danger? Yes. Can I do it? Yes. Okay. Is it easy to go into and out of? Yes, you bet. So, have I set up the situation properly to use it? Well, maybe. Let's find out. You know, let's find out. Or, just take the element of, oh, look, if during attacks I just make myself a little bit thinner, let's say, and something slides, you know, off, well, maybe I can also like extend my arm and strike with my, you know, with my fingers somewhere. It's okay, you know, just try to do it. Get your sparring partner, get your friend, and tell them, hey, beat my ass, okay? Well, fucking beat my ass. And what you're, and then you're trying to do that. And that's how you will learn if that is ever going to be practical. by having your friend actually try to beat you up. They're your friend. They're not gonna hurt you too much. Okay? Because they're not coming with the intent of fucking you up. They're coming with the intent of see it as a game, you know? Right? They're not gonna aim for your groin and just destroy your possibility to have children. They're gonna aim for maybe your thigh, you know? They're not gonna aim to knock you out with a punch. They're gonna aim to land the punch just enough for you to understand that, you know, now that in real life would have fucked me. So I did something wrong. You know, the merits of training with someone who doesn't hate your guts, you know, and doesn't hate your very being. Instead, they love you probably. They really like you. You know, that's why they're your friend. That's why they might accept helping you, you know. And they don't have to, you know, they don't have to even start training. They don't even start to do martial arts. They can just do it for fun. You know, you know, if somebody told me, hey, can you try to fucking beat my ass, please? I would be like, okay, you know, cool, let's fucking go. You don't need to know anything. You don't need, like, just see it as a game, for real. Let's fucking go, bro, you know. And you can inform them that, for example, look, I'll be trying to do something. That something is this. So don't be afraid. I will just, like, tap your chin. I'm not gonna punch you. I'm just gonna touch your chin. I'm gonna touch you. Okay, just touch. It's okay, just touch. You don't have to punch, just touch, okay? Just only touch. That gives the other person enough information in the sense of, yeah, that would have fucked me in real life. Okay, if you touched me here and I couldn't do anything, oh my god, I'm dead. You know, you don't have to, you know, your friend doesn't have to even like martial arts. Maybe they just like tickling you. Tell them, okay, hey, tickle me, you know, just attack me, you know, bitch, I dare you. And then, you know, just play. You know, just play. It doesn't have to be fucking serious. It doesn't have always to do with fucking assassinating people, okay, in the darkness with a katana, right? It can be fun to learn that way, okay? And so when that happens, then you know, start trying to do this weird, like, starfish, flat, you know, thin profile kind of ninjutsu shit, you know, and see if this whole fucking thing fucking helps anything, right? See, just see if it does. Who the fuck knows, bro? But finding out is gonna be a nice journey, and it's gonna help you physically. You know, you're gonna be more fit, more flexible, perhaps, depending on what the fuck you're trying to do. So as I said, there are merits. Okay? Bravo, Daphne! You streamed again using your camera. 1 hour and 20 minutes. Bravo! Hey! Okay. My God, you're fucking you, huh? Yeah. You know, it's cool talking to you about that shit. But now you see though, and now you see why last time, I guess I made a lot of points of like why last time I didn't feel like I'm cheating when I said, oh, you can also like throw momentum in and go, and like where was my guard because my hand was here or something, you know, where was my, why wasn't I guarding the solar plexus here, like, you know, this point here, why was I not like guarding my tailbone, you know? Why am I not doing what I'm telling you to do, you know? It's because in the moment I'm sacrificing a lot more defense for offense. It's because, you know, if I decide that I want to add movement to my strike, which is not necessary always, nor is it better always, and it has advantages and disadvantages, and hey, that's the point of tactics, bitch. That's the point of strategy. To define when and where and how and what and why, which is a good moral exercise, you know. You're fucking stubborn. Anyway, that's the whole thing, and now time to talk discipline. No, I'm just kidding. But like, yeah, yeah. So at least, so I clarified that thing about that one thing that I did last time. God help me if I have to clarify more than one thing that I say. And we also went a little bit into the whole flow of the fight and into the whole like stances thing. We touched on those shitty topics a little bit. And I feel that next time we should talk defense. You know, wax off, wax on. You know, it's time to talk defense next time. And talking about defense is gonna definitely prompt me finally to talk about hard and soft, linear and circular. You know, and the intricacies of circular strikes. And are they really circular in the end? Spoilers. Are they really? Anyway, so next time we'll talk about defending and possibly, if there is enough time, touch on linear, circular, hard, and soft. Okay? You should know a lot about soft. Only pros like me know about hard. Alright, listen up. I'm getting dunkier by the second. I'm getting dunkier by the fucking second. I can't believe that I said that. God damn it. Alright, okay, playtime is over. Fucking morons. Let me fucking snap this camera thingy back where it belongs. Try to like kinda, oh my god, why can't I transform everything? Oh no. Why can't it be like, 1 second. Bro. Why can't it mask these dimensions? Huh? Because now I can alter like, oh, you know what, maybe what if I snap it? Oh my fucking god. Okay, just go there first of all. Snap yourself there, okay. And then just put it like maybe here. Okay. I will fix it next time. Because I think I fucked up something. Okay. Wait. Oops, burpees. Yeah, I think I kind of fucked up my camera, but don't worry about it. And when I say fucked up my camera, not physically fucked up my camera, but rather in OBS I kind of deformed the camera window, even though I thought that wasn't like, you know, that wasn't like possible. But now it is for some reason. And now I have to deal with like the fact that it is. Maybe though, if I click on it and then click like properties, right? And then maybe, yeah, resolution. It doesn't like. Yeah, device. So okay, so device default. Yeah, where is the? Yeah. Okay, so where's the fucking thing? Why is it transformed in such a way that? There is a way to snap it to certain resolutions, but I don't remember how. I've forgotten everything. Bleh. I can't fucking remember. All I know is that like you can kind of like do it, but what if I do custom, right? And then I do resolution, and then there you go, and I do this, and then I press OK. That did nothing. That was a lie. That didn't do shit. Wait a moment. All right, let's go again. Properties. Okay. Resolution and FPS type. Device default pitch. There we go. Okay, and then I can still just try to resize it any way I want. That is like crazy, dude. How am I gonna know? How am I gonna know? Maybe I need to remove and re-add the source, right? I'll fool around with it after I stop my stream, which should be happening right now. So, thank you for watching. Oh, the music, wait. Yeah, there we go. That's much better. So, as I was saying, thank you for watching. I hope you had fun. I had fun. Um, and yeah, yeah. Have an amazing fucking weekend. Have an amazing Saturday, and a very easygoing and smooth Sunday. Just a relaxed one. And may you have immense amounts of fun and be immensely safe. Okay. All right. Okay. Kisses. Bye.